So one of the things that I like to pick up throughout the year, especially in the summertime because they tend to be a lot cheaper, is older Christmas decorations. Uh, I got these snowmen. They come on stakes like this, so you can put them in the yard. There's strings of lights that go up inside them to light them up. They're blow molded plastic, which kind of a hot thing with Christmas decorations. They're not really made anymore. A lot of people want them. They're a very desirable thing to find at yard sales. Typically the larger blow molded pieces sell really well this time of year. And there's something that I enjoy picking up, repairing as needed, and reselling online. So I picked up 6 sets of these snowman lights. They came in just a giant plastic bin. I went to a yard sale. They had a free sign on them. I asked the lady, are these actually free? Because I would have gladly paid for them, working or not. And she's like, yeah, my husband spent many, many hours messing with them. Decided that they're hopeless, they can't be fixed. If you think you can do anything with them, you're welcome to have them. And I'm like, great. Threw them in my car, never looked back. I've gotten 2 of the sets working already. One of the sets I cannibalized. The wires were frayed. The guy had obviously done a number on the plug, trying to get the fuses out. It just looked really bad. It wasn't something comfortable that I was comfortable reselling online, simply because of the fire hazard involved. So one of the things I want to go through here is how these function, how to troubleshoot them. It's actually relatively simple if you think about it. Just, that's the real secret to any issues, especially electrical issues. There's a process for troubleshooting. Think it out. Think about how it works. We've got electricity comes in through these 2 wires. 2 wires actually pass through to the end. However, as you can see in here, one of them goes in, one passes through, one goes into this light and comes out this light. So you end up with 3 wires between the light strands. And this is split here. So it actually goes in and out of the same socket. So this wire pretty much maintains continuity. And anything that happens between here and here does not affect the power that comes out at this end. So what I'm going to do here is turn on a multimeter. We'll go over to the multimeter function. I'm going to go into AC volts. These are 120 volts AC. First thing I'm going to do is check power out the back of the plug. And I've got 120 volts, which tells me these 2 fuses inside here are good. Now the reason I say that is because, as you can see, the person who was messing with them before removed fuses, probably thinking they were the source of the problem. Typically fuses on these do not blow unless you string together more things than you should. So we'll go to the end of the plug, same test, got 120 volts out. So I know the integrity of my 2 green wires is good all the way through. So the next step I'm going to do is come back up here. Let's see if I guessed the right plug. So this is the power going back into the first string. And I've got 120 volts here. So the green wire is good there. Let's go to the output wire that goes off to the next string. And I've got 120 volts there. So what that tells me is all the lights in here are connected through. I've got power going all the way through. That thing's good. So we'll come over to this one. Power in, 120. Power out, 120. $120. Now, as you can see, I'm back probing these lights. If you have a needle point on your probe, it makes it very, very easy to check these things. A lot of the cheaper probes you get, if you go down to Harbor Freight and buy their $5 or $7, whatever, multimeter, it's going to have some pretty thick probes on here. You won't be able to back probe like that. There's a couple things you can do. You can shove like a sewing needle up in there and clamp it, or just touch your probe to the sewing needle. Or they sell back probe kits. You can get those right next to the multimeters at Harbor Freight, and I think they're $4 or $5, whatever. They're not very much. And it's basically just an extension for your probe that you slide up in there, and then you touch your probe too. So let's check the next one. And 120 volts in, 120 volts out. I think I did that backwards. It was out in my name. But we'll go to the next one. So that's the wire coming in from the last one. Got 120 volts in. Hmm, 109 volts. I might not have a good connection. Let me try that again. Okay, 120 volts out. So now we're down to the first string in the set. Wire coming in from the last set. No, that's the final wire going out. 0. So we got 120 volts in. Do not have 120 volts coming back out. So the problem exists somewhere within this string. Easiest way to troubleshoot this, break it in half. So we'll go to the top here. 0 volts. 0 volts. So somewhere between here and here. And let's follow this up. And I've got 120 volts in here to this light, to this light, to this light. Let's go ahead and check halfway again, and nothing coming in. So it's down to these couple lights right here. I've got voltage in, do not have voltage out. So let's pull this bulb. Oh, would you look at that? So in these bulbs, that's a bad one, you will see that they have these little wires on them that allows continuity through the circuit. This bulb does not have them. Which means somebody probably pulled it out roughly at some point. And voila, we have working lights. And it really is that simple. Testing these things is not difficult at all. Simple voltmeter. You can pick one up super cheap. It doesn't matter if you got a fancy one, if you got an old analog. I think the probes are more important than the meter itself in a lot of cases. Being able to get in there without having to pierce the wires, without having to go through the trouble of using a needle or a back probe separately or whatever. But that's just my personal preference. You can really do it however you want. If you want to, you can pull bulbs and test inside the socket if you can't back probe them. But this is the fastest, easiest way for me. So I now have 3 working sets and 2 more to fix. I will get 5 working sets out of this, throw them on eBay, and I'll probably end up making about $200 off of this lot of snowman light. So I'm really happy with this find.